Chapter 1. Let me tell you a story. No, not the kind you read in dusty books with unhappy endings and properly behaved protagonists. No, this is a story of reckless love, blood-soaked honor, sulking ghosts, fiery cooking, galloping hooves, and a man so stubborn he once stabbed the devil herself. Our tale begins, as all good legends do, with two very opposite souls, Jose Lopestar Silva, a man forged in iron and raised by stallions, known throughout the region as a horsebreaker, mule whisperer, and occasional lunatic. Jose never left the house without his dagger. Not for bread, not for mass, not even to kiss his mother. He was the kind of man who resolved most arguments with a duel, preferably before lunch. His father was a farmer. His temper was volcanic. And then there was Jacinta Alves Pereira, radiant, refined. She had studied among nuns, lived her teen years behind thick convent walls where prayers stitched the hours together, and her family descended from Portuguese and Italian nobles. Jacinta moved like silence in a chapel and spoke with the softness of a lullaby. And though her heart was tender, it was no less brave. Her hands were built for cooking, not combat, but make no mistake, Jacinta had a fire of her own. He came like a storm. She stood like a prayer. They met as all great lovers should, through the shutters of a window and the taming of wild beasts. It was around 1927. Jose, then at the age of 23, had been hired to tame the unruly horses and mules of Jacinta's father, Domingo's estate. He was muscle and motion, a rider who bent beasts to his will. 17-year-old Jacinta watched him from the lace-curtained shutter window, barely breathing. For Jacinta, it was like watching war and poetry dance. He'd lock eyes with the beast, dare it to throw him, and every time, Jose won. She fell in love that day, but she also feared he'd die. Because love, as we know, often rides the same road as danger. Day after day, she watched him ride and wrestle and rise again, her heart hammering like the hooves against the earth. Until one day, Jose saw her too. And once he met her eyes, those eyes, he knew he would never break another horse until he obtained her heart. There was just one problem. Her family had rules. Rules like marry your cousin, keep the land in the family, and avoid temperamental horsemen with knives. But Jose didn't care for rules, especially ones that stood between him and the girl with moonlight in her gaze. Jacinta's father, Domingos, did what any proud patriarch would do when a wild-eyed horse tamer came courting. He hid her, behind doors and curtains. But Jose, undeterred, shouted across the yard, "You can hide your daughter under your bed, but she is mine, and I will marry her." Two Pereira cousins stood in his path. One of them, Selim, half Turkish, was determined to win Jacinta's hand with ambition in his veins. Jose sought them out and fought them both in a duel. Selim did not survive. From that day forward, the name Selim was spoken only in whispers and never in Jose's presence. Throughout their courtship, Jose sneaked kisses with Jacinta every day with his back against the same wall and his dagger still strapped to his side. Over time, the dagger repeatedly pierced the wall, leaving a growing hole where they stood. Some lovers leave behind poetry. Jose left behind structural damage. Jacinta chose love. She married her outlaw, her stallion tamer, and for that she was disowned. Her brothers got the land, she inherited a wall clock, a final tick of time from the world she left behind. With the dignity of a duchess, she would say, "I never wanted the land. I wanted a life of my own choosing." And what a life they built. From their union came 10 children, born from the dust and dreams of the Valley of Mucuri. Braudu, Carmen, Jader, Suzette, Wouter, Neuza, Vernier, José, and two who rested among the saints. Jacintha may have given up the land, but she kept the kingdom of the kitchen, and there she ruled. She made kale by the bushel that could heal any sorrow, and bread shaped like alligators just for laughs. The house was filled with music and mud, cheese bread and songs, a kind of kingdom all its own. Not in splendor, not in wealth, but in defiance, unity, and in fierce devotion. The Lopes family, José's bloodline, lived by a law of loyalty. One helps the other always. Like the Lobos, wolves in a pack. And this law, this fire-forged unity, became our inheritance. A family still bound not by land or coin, but by stories, by bread, by the legend of José and Jacintha. And like all true legends, theirs never ends.